everybody, Jo here. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be creating a design on our May calendar page, and I'm going to take the inspiration for this design from our lovely little printed image at the bottom. So I hope you're going to join me. Now this is just an idea if you haven't got anything in mind already for May. And because I've taken that inspiration, what I'm going to do is I've created my design already on a piece of card. For me, I've got to be honest, so I can practice. But also because then I can make a card. And it's nice while you've got a design to make a card as well as doing your calendar. But again, just to show you that don't just think these are for calendars. If you're not joining in this journey, maybe make a card. It might give you an idea. I mean, this could be for a new birth. So what I've done, I've got my calendar page here ready. And I've just taped off with our low tack masking tape an area the same size as what I have here on my card. And as I say, I'm using our wonderful Fantasia, and the reason I'm using that is the one at the bottom, Liberty, was facing the other way, and I just think it would look nice when the design was finished. So that's my thinking anyway. You know me, I like to explain the way my head works, although not always ideal, is it? So I'm going to come in and stamp our lovely Fantasia first, and I'm going to stamp in black. Now, as I say, it might be you've already got a design, but for anybody who, I know there are a few crafters out there that do struggle, you know, Mr. Mojo, as I've said before, goes on holiday, or you just can't think of ideas. So that's where we come in here. And I think we'll pop this about sort of here. And again, I've just added some extra copy of paper just because for me, it gives me a bit of extra oomph when I'm stamping in my calendar. That's lovely. And it gives me room at the front. I'm going to add this beautiful bulrushes. And just because it'll almost push our boat further out so we can then add some water, gives us something in the foreground. And I'm thinking bulrushes grow near water, don't they? So we'll stamp those. What I'm going to do is just grab another piece of copy of paper just to pop here to stamp on. Again, make sure you protect this because you don't want to be stamping on the rest of your calendar. It's quite funny this, all these things you have to think of. Now again, we can have a combination of first and second generation stamping. Again, I'm just going to move that out. So don't worry, obviously, I just missed a bit there, but it's not a problem because we can come in and just add always ways round it, I've told you. Obviously, that's why I do these things. And again, I'm just going to alter the angles. I don't want to overcook it, what do I think? A little bit there, I think. Just, we'll have another couple. And yes, I do talk to myself. Right, that's it. Overcooking done. So we'll pop that back on there. And then I'm just going to turn this round because I want to stamp the beautiful vine flower at the top. And again, when you're doing your calendar, you'll be like me, it's all about space. And I love this bellflower vine. So it's just making sure where I can, you have to think at the top because obviously we've got the binder, the spine. So I find if I put my stamp to the edge of my block, it makes it that bit easier for me. So That's fine. Just be aware as well, on your masking tape, your low tap masking tape, your ink does take longer to dry. So just watch you don't smudge it. And again, it's these little things that if you're not aware, because I know we get new crafters all the time, and it's always lovely to have you joining us on here. Such a lovely family. Now I want to see if I can just get a little bit here. And as I say, being mindful. Yeah, and maybe just a tiny one there on the end. I'm thinking just a little peeping in. Right, let's turn that round. But give it a blot, especially as I say on that masking tape. Because if I come in with a stencil brush now and add some ink, the black may just smudge and move a bit. Yes, you can see on here how much we've got there, so that would have smudged. So if I turn it round, and then we can have a look what we've got. So I'm happy with that. So what I'm thinking now is going to bring my acetate circle mask, and let's create some sky. So I'm thinking I've got 3 colours of my elements here, and I've got some Della blue and some blue atoll, but I'm going to bring in a little bit of russet orange. So I'm going to start with the sky and my Della blue, and I'm just going to put my moon mask, and I'm going to hold it there, look. And as I say, this is why it's important that the black has been blotted so it doesn't smudge. And again, I'm just inking up off camera and just dabbing it on the lid. And I'm just going to sort of come across, and I like it in the corner there. And then I'll just bring a little bit in on this corner, look, and going along my tape. Just a little bit more in here for the idea of the sky. And what I will do is come in now. My russet orange it's a strong russet orange, and again you get to know your ink pads. So I'm going to take a little bit off on my lid, and then I might even just put some on my tape here, gently. I just want to have a little area, and I'm just tickling little area in the sky and just across the moon there, where I just want the hues of, you know, little bit of that beautiful, say, sunset. I'm not going to add any more than that. But what I will do is come in now and just add a little bit for the sea down here. And I'm just adding a little bit of the same colour, because often the sea replicates the sky, doesn't it? But I want to add some blue atoll, because I want it to just be a bit punchier, as it were. And I've gone for one of my smaller brushes now, the number 3, and I find these really useful for almost colouring around. So I can actually add this lovely colour around the boat, look, and I don't need to mask it off. And then what I'm going to do is almost give myself a line here where the sea and the sky meet. And again, this little brush is just perfect for this. And I'm just going to come down here. And again, remember, because I've stamped in the Versafine Clair, so that's your permanent ink. So this ink, happily, just go around it. If I wanted to add water to this, I could, and the permanent ink won't move. So I'm just going to sort of go till I'm happy with this. And what I will do is add a little bit of orange, almost to mimic what's in the sky. So I've not added any more on my brush, because I've got enough on my brush. And I just want it almost to mimic what's in there. Like that. I just want to here even up that, my horizon. Right, so I'm going to put the lids on my ink pads, otherwise I'll be sticking my finger in there and then I'll get fingerprints everywhere. Now, before I add some colour, I'm going to come in with my Brilliance, the Moonlight White ink pad. And I've got a little stencil brush, and this one I have just for my white look, and I even write on it white, just so I know. And I'm just going to add a little bit to the moon, and it just gives sparkle. And I'm also going to add some under here, just where that moon, and it just gives the water such a lovely, I'm not sure if you can you see that? It just here gives a lovely sheen on the water. And it's these little things that make all the difference. Again, pop the plastic, keep the plastic on that, really important. So let's add some colour now. And I'm going to come in with my watercolour pencils. So I've got my lovely pack of watercolour pencils here. And I'm just going to get a couple of browns and an orange just to start off on the bolt. And I'm very simply going to add, and I have a bit of a cheats way of colouring. So I'm just adding a little bit of orange almost at the top. And then with my darker brown, the areas where it would be darker, so that's at each end, look, down the middle, being traces drawn the dots, look, you've got lovely dots to show you where the darker tones would be. So down here, under the buttons. And because I've done my darker colour and my lighter colour, I can then come in, just checking, can you see? I can then come in with my mid-brown, and I'm going to colour that and actually go over the dark and just into that orange, and that will blend all the colours together. Now these are watercolour pencils, so I can add some water, but also for me, you know, there's no law that says you have to add water. I find I can actually do beautiful colouring where sometimes I don't even add the water, because I'm blending with that mid-tone. So I'm going to colour one of my buttons while I'm here. And I'm going to come in with two purples. So again, I'm going for a deeper purple at the base here, and then a lighter purple at the top. And again, going over that deeper colour to blend the two. I always have to put them back in the right place. Right, and I'm going to add blue here. And then come in with my lighter. I love this blue. So funny, look at the size of this pencil. I can always tell my favourite pencils because they are shorter than the rest. Right, now I'm going to come in with the green now. I've got a favourite green as well. Now, when it comes to the leaves, I've got a darker green, and I'm just going to go down the middle with a darker colour. Again, just because this is the way that I tend to colour. And then I'm going to come in with my lighter colour and colour the whole leaf, and that will blend that darker colour in. And also for me, I mean, again, I'm sure you will spend a lovely afternoon or a lovely time with your coffee colouring these in, but I know that we maybe haven't got all the time to do this. So I'm going to colour the leaves here, and again, I'm going to come in with my darker colour, and again, it's working out. There's no need to colour it. That's on the masking tape, is there? She says, as she merrily, did you spot that? I'm trying to colour them in on the masking tape. And I bet I'm not the only one that does that, you know. Or maybe I am. Maybe I am that person. a bit like when you decoupage something and you realise you've coloured the whole thing in on the base and you're thinking, why have I done that? So when it comes to the flower, now normally I colour this part coloured and this bit blue because I think it's a little bit like a fuchsia or a flower like that. But for today, I'm actually going to colour the middle bit green and this bit blue just because I want the tones there. So bear with me, and I know it's probably not, so those of you that are gardeners are probably shouting at me, but this to me is a fantasy flower and I'm going to colour it this way just because I think it will look nicer with my design. But I always think, oh, that's the beauty of the magical world that we live in with Lavinia. We can just, that's my excuse, it's magic. And we all like a bit of magic, don't we? And I'm probably just slightly off shot here, so I'll come back in. And again, it's important I'm leaning on this kitchen paper because I don't want to smudge any of this. I'm so glad that so many of you joining in with these calendars. They make lovely gifts, you know, but do be warned though, if you're doing them as gifts, I really do recommend you make an extra one for yourself because it is hard giving them away. Well, I certainly found it hard. I've left mine at Lavinia, and even though I knew I was doing it for that, it's still hard when you've made your 12 lovely pages to say goodbye to it. Right, let me have a look. I think we may have got them all. What I'm going to do is just add a little bit of blue just round here when we take the tape off, just so I've got a nice little edge. Just very subtle. Right, so with my water brush, we'll come in first and just light to dark, remember, on the boat. And again, can you see the colours there really pop? Look. So again, here we go light at the top, through, down to the dark, and those colours just blend beautifully. Clean my brush in between the colours, so the blue of that button and then the purple of that button. And then what I'll do, and again, as I say, you will spend a lot longer and actually paint these in beautifully. So clean my brush and then into the blue. I love this blue. I say it's so funny with my pencils, I can tell which ones are my favourites. They're definitely shorter than all the others. Now, what I'm going to do for those eagle-eyed of you up here, there's a little bit where it misstamped slightly. So with my black fine liner, I'm just going to draw that in. And then nobody will ever know. There we go. Didn't see that, did you? So, finishing tricks time. White Posca pen. Let's add, we'll just get our pastel pencils out and let's just add with the darker blue a little bit of shade and just smudge it because it's a pastel under the boat there. And then with the white we'll add a little bit down here. Then white Posca, we'll just go with some highlights on our lovely bulrushes. And again, just be on this side because the moon's there. Just maybe it'll catch the bolts. Maybe just catch the buttons. A couple of the leaves. And again here, just maybe catch. And again, yours, you'll let yours dry so your Posca will show up even more. We'll just have a couple of little Posca lines just here as well, just under that moon. Can maybe add the odd ripple here. And then I'm thinking to make it look a little bit more, let's come in with some of our Stickles glitter glue, just to add some sparkle on that water. And I've just got an empty water brush here, and I'm just going to paint it on, just because obviously it can be a bit rude and spit at your work, but also I just want it in certain places. I'm going to put it right across the horizon here, and then, as I say, under the moon, where we'll just have more sparkle, and under the boat. And we'll mop that up. And then lastly, to finish off, I'm thinking, now again, be warned, those of you that don't like your Posca, obviously this is the bit yours will be finished. Mine, I just want to come in with a little bit of Posca and just add some magical Posca. Now, these could be little orbs. They're just magicalness for me. But you don't want these, it's your calendar, leave them off. And then time to take the tape off. And again, be mindful. Gently. The Lavinia tape comes off beautifully. Look at that. Just going to pop that in the bin. Just going to take my paper out from underneath. And then there we have a lovely page for May. And at the base, look, I've coloured in, and it's difficult getting it, but I just love the way that the boats are facing each other. So that's Fantasia and Liberty. And we've got the lovely bulrushes. So that's my offering for May. And as I say, if you haven't got a calendar and you want to make a birthday card or a bon voyage card, or put it in pink for the birth of a little girl, you know, just think about all those possibilities. But I'm happy with that. And you know what? May's my birthday month. So, or maybe that means I need a holiday in May, sail away somewhere. So thank you very much as always. And thank you for your feedback and all your lovely comments. Seriously, I really do appreciate them. So until tomorrow, when I'll see you again, have a lovely evening. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.